You're about to hear the world premiere of a new piece of music. About a year ago, my brother and I, Todd was an oboist throughout high school and college, and I decided it would be a fitting gift to give to my dad, a commission in honor of him. And so we called a composer, that Gold and Blue had both performed some of his work before. And we said, Dad was a teacher for 33, 34 years and continued to be involved in various aspects of education after he retired from teaching. And we would like to commission a piece that would be performed by the Gold Band that would be in honor of all of his work and what he's meant to the community. And so Mr. Kirby agreed, and he came up with the concept of reunions. And he and I ended up talking for a little bit about what that meant. And so I'm just going to read, this is just going to take a moment from what he wrote in the score, kind of give you an idea of all the things that we talked about. The program notes begin with this. Reunions is a musical representation of the life of a music director and teacher. It attempts to musically depict the many different experiences that a director may encounter in his or her career. You're going to hear these as we progress throughout the piece. There are times of joy, times of musical satisfaction, times of student accomplishment, times of hectic activity, times of recognition, and unfortunately, perhaps, times of sorrow and frustration. Yet none of these experiences compare to the wonderful moment, reunions, when former students go out of their way to relay how important music was and is in their lives. One of the true joys of teaching music is to know that you are teaching something that will last a lifetime. And the piece is divided in those sections. The very first section, he said, you might call discovery. It might happen in high school, it might happen in early college to that musician who discovers the wonder of music and decides that that is going to be their life's goal to share it with others. It's a beautiful section with a lot of solos. And then it moves on to the hectic part. And you will recognize that immediately. And that can be the first year of teaching in any subject, or that can be the first couple of years as a music major when you're amazed at how packed your schedule can be and how you can still find a way to do everything from 8 in the morning until 11 or 12 at night, maybe with one break. An exciting time, but hectic. And then as we move through the hectic stage and through that first year of teaching, there's some disappointment. And that might be problems within the teaching profession itself, whether with students or parents or administrators, or perhaps some sort of loss or some sort of tragedy that occurs. And then there's a beautiful section that he entitled Achievement of Potential, when those students reach a height that you had only hoped for, and they do something maybe even better than you had imagined, and that feeling that you share in their accomplishment. And then toward the end of the piece, there's a softer section, a slower section entitled Reflection, as you reflect back on a career. And then the ending is sort of an ending of triumph, and many different themes come back as you have those reunions with students. It's funny, Todd and I kept this a secret from Mom and Dad for a long time. And probably a week after we revealed it at Dad's birthday, we hadn't fully explored what the idea of reunions was. Mom told me about a former student that Dad had met up with, and what a great time they had had talking to each other. And it just made the whole thing connect and say, yeah, this is real. I'm very grateful to the Gold Band for doing this. I asked them to indulge me a little bit because it's a little personal. But it's also wonderful for us, and this doesn't happen many places, to be able to be involved with the creation of a brand new piece of music. And as we worked through this score for the first few times, we were in contact with the composer, asking questions, asking him to explain the sections, asking about different parts of the music. And it was really just a great thing for us. And as we were even finishing up yesterday and doing some rehearsal, they were making a very informed musical decision about how this piece should be realized, what kind of interpretation we should make. And I was amazed at the insights that they brought to it. Mr. Singer, if we could have just a little bit of light in the house. Please recognize my mom and my dad. Reunions was commissioned to celebrate the teaching career of Tony Seabriak, known to his students as Mr. C. He was the director of bands at North Lima, Cheney, and Youngstown, and spent most of his career at Canfield High School in Ohio, retiring in 1997, and he was also the choir director at Calvary Baptist Church for over 2 decades. He shared his passion for music with countless students and adults over those years, encouraging them to sing, play, or appreciate music no matter their age. He inspired excellence and ultimately led students to discover how musicianship develops character and binds us together as a family. He was inducted into the Ohio Band Directors Hall of Fame in 2005. Since retiring, one of his greatest joys is to run into former students who play in community bands, church, or with their own children who are studying music. This composition is dedicated to him and his many years of sharing music with his community. Thanks, Dad.